Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Roberto D'Amelio from Ares Games, looking at Masters of the Night, non-final production copy.
Non-final production, yeah. The graphic design is pretty much what it will be, but the components here, physically speaking, will be a little different. So like real punch board instead of cards.
Okay. So this is a cooperative game for 1 to 5 players, which you happen to be vampires.
Yes. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I assume you are trying not to be hunted down.
Not to be hunted down. Try to grow back to your original power, because you arrive in this new city unfamiliar to you. You just get out of the train and you are very weak because you couldn't feed for a long while. So your goal is to avoid being hunted down by the agents of this inquisitorial society which are chasing you across the world. You are trying to build back your strength, and so that you can dominate the city and make it a new realm which will protect you against your hunters.
Okay. All right. How do we do that?
How we do that? So we get 1 to 5 characters in play, depending on the number of players. You can decide to play with 1 player. Is it recommended you play at least 2 characters anyway? Up to 5 players with 1 character each. Okay. The characters are very different abilities in terms of 2 special bonuses that each one of them has. But most of them will try to build back their strength from 0 to 9. When the way the strength is built back is by hunting. So you can hunt your enemies, the agents. So every time that you kill an agent, you will grow back his strength because you drain blood and his life force. You can also go hunting the other victims, and that can also help you to build back your strength. Until to the point where you have the maximum strength, then at that point you can cast your sigil on one of the districts. This will give you an extra bonus power in that location. And also the combination of the fact that the various characters also, all the characters cast their sigil in one location, and then all the vampires can gather together and do the Blood Moon ritual, which will seal your domain over the city. But it's while you're trying to do this, so while you're trying to build back your strength and dominate the city, your enemies are also taking care of the situation. They are hunting you down to prevent doing that. This is handled through the event deck mechanics. So every turn is split in a day and a night phase. Okay. During the day phase, you will flip one of the event cards, and when you set up the game, you set up a certain number of stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 cards, and the more cards that you have, the easier the game is, because this also represents the length of the game. Right. So the minimum is 5, 5, 5 for a total of 15 rounds that you have got to play. You can make the game harder by shortening to 12 rounds, or you can make the game easier in 18 rounds. Each time that you flip a card, you will have a grid which tells you where new agents appear. So you, for example, here you will have a new agent appearing in the police department for sure, and then depending on the player's count, you can have a certain number of agents also appear in other locations. So for example, if you are playing a 3-player game, we will have 2 agents appear in the location marked with the red cross, and 1 agent appearing in either one of these blue locations. So you have a little bit of a choice where you have to put your enemies in place. Okay. The agents will appear, and one of the things that happen is if the agents find you, so they appear in a location where your vampires and minions are, they become aware about your existence. So this tracker will represent how much your enemies are aware about your presence in the city. So you start at a maximum of 6 every time that the agents appear in a location where you are. So you have to balance being spread out across the city, but with more chances to use the district's abilities, but also with more chances of being sought. So there are a lot of little balancing things like that. So when agents appear, this veil tracker goes down, and up to 0 you would lose the game if you ever get
Okay.
here. So you have to make sure that you do things which don't make this veil drop down. Other things during the game can also get the veil to go down. For example, if you use the more powerful special ability of a character, that will also is somehow flashy, noticeable by the people, so will also get the veil to go down.
Okay.
And the event card will also give you a special event, which can be one agent more or can be some other influence on the game board. And special events become more complicated and more dangerous for the vampires as time goes by and you move from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3. The day phase also has a little bit of an area control-like mechanic, because many of the abilities of the districts, several of the abilities of the districts are related to having a majority between agents or minions in that location. So for example, if you have a majority of minions against agents in the police department, then you will be able to find out where your enemies are, so exposing the agents, which then allow you to attack them. Or say, for example, in the museum, if you have your minions controlling the museum, then you will be able to find relics, so very powerful magical items which can help your vampires. So there is a little bit of area control during the day where the agents and the minions face off against each other to keep control of certain key areas on the board. And then in the night phase, your vampires will actually do their actions. In the beginning, they can do only basic actions because they are weak, so they will have actions like moving, finding enemies, recruiting minions, fighting. But as they build back strength, they become able to use the relics, they become able to use their more powerful abilities. So as you scale up and get back your original strength, then you can do more things. And during the night phase, you can also use the special abilities of the districts, which are marked as a night phase.
Okay.
So you lose the game by finishing the time that you have available, so running out of cards in the event deck. You lose the game if the veil tracker gets to 0, so you don't have, so the general population becomes aware that vampires are around, that you
They
can
all rise up against
Yeah,
them.
exactly. Or you win the game if you manage to level up all your vampires to the maximum strength, set your sigils over the city, then you gather and complete the Blood Moon ritual.
All right. Thank you very much, Roberto.
You're welcome.
For a thorough overview of Masters of the Night from Ares Games. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.